Hey, Riding Side Saddle, we're back.
Hello,
It's Tammy.
Lisa. Sorry. I was like cutting right in there.
It's all right.
I got excited.
We're in the recording studio. It's warm in Wisconsin.
It is. I have short hair, but I had to put a tiny little rubber band in it with a little bun because I'm sweating.
You are. It's warm. And yeah, it is warm, but it's not too warm.
No.
So we do have the windows down. We are in a private location today, so we shouldn't have skateboarders or, things like that coming through like we've had. But we might have some wildlife.
You never know.
Never know. Never can tell. So it's not just Lisa and I in the studio today.
It is not.
No.
We have a friend. We have Catherine. Different from the Catherine that we've had on the episodes historically. This Catherine.
It's Catherine with a K.
It is.
E-R-I-N-E.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you. This Catherine, I was sharing with Tammy earlier how we have been a part of this wellness circle. Mm-hmm. And we all know the same people for some time. We just had not been introduced to one another. So recently I had reached out to my chiropractor to talk about some lymphatic issues that I've been experiencing. And she had suggested that I connect with Catherine, and she gave me her card, and I did. Set up my first appointment, and then I noticed that she was promoting my husband's business card, his the acupuncture practice, and we got to talking, and we run in a lot of the same circles, in fact. So 50 minutes after I met Catherine, I'm like, so we do this podcast. Do you want to be part of it? This might be forward and this might be weird, and you can absolutely say no, but I'm going to ask. And you were gracious enough to accept. Of course, I sent her the link so that she knew that, what am I getting myself into?
Right, that's fair.
I might want to take a listen or two before I really get myself tied into this.
And she showed up.
And she did.
Sucker. Just kidding.
For the food and drink.
Right.
Yeah, for the planning session. Everybody loves the planning session. Yeah, that's the best part.
You can't not love the planning session.
Right.
So thank you very much for coming. I'm not going to do a wonderful, fantastic job introducing you. So please take the baton and share with me us what you do and how you help people.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I really think this is great. I like your podcast, and thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks for listening.
Absolutely.
And for joining us.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm Catherine with a K, D. Shazer. And my practice is called, or my business, Athena Therapeutic Massage. Mm-hmm. And when I was in school, trying to think of, names that you want to call your thing. You don't want to call it happy endings and, things like that. Right?
I mean, probably not. But that's a standard.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get a lot of people showing up, though.
I mean, if you don't have happy endings, then you probably shouldn't start the name that way.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So, I kind of like literature, and I was at a friend's retrospective art, and she's a clay ceramicist, and she had a ceramic of Athena riding the back of an elephant going over the Himalayan mountains. And I love that ceramic so much that became the logo of my business, Athena.
Oh, wonderful.
And the name. So, and of course, Athena, the goddess, is goddess of wisdom. And so anyway, a little longer than what I wanted to do with that. But anyhow.
I love that.
I do too.
I was wondering, actually, how you came up with the name.
Kind of an unusual. No, it's not my name. A lot of people think it's my name, but it's not. And so when I was in school, I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer, and so I just have an innate curiosity about anything and everything. It doesn't make any difference what it is. So when I was in school, I took the medical tract and embarked for the last 13 years on just trying to figure out more and deeper aspects of kinesiology. What is it that works with our systems? So my practice really is therapeutic, and I employ quite a few different modalities. People probably think more of Swedish. Swedish is nice for a relaxation kind of massage. And yes, you can have deep, but it's not the same thing as, let's say, a trigger point therapy or cranial sacral, or the newest modality that I learned is called Marnitz therapy out of Germany. And it is a modality. I'm one of 9 now trained in the U.S. with this.
Wow.
What is that?
Yeah, I know, it's really cool.
Yeah, I've not heard of it.
Well, you probably wouldn't have, because
There's
only
9 people.
There's only, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So the woman that I learned from is a first generation of Dr. Marnitz. So she actually worked with him. She's German. She was brought over here by my friend Madge, who's in Chicago, and Madge served as her interpreter, because she spoke very little English and could not teach in the English language, but could obviously in the German. She works at the premier research hospital in Europe, in Berlin.
Oh.
And this modality is what basically PTs and massage therapists go to when they're working with people in an orthopedic type setting. And so I've been begging Madge to, bring her.
Introduce you, yeah.
Wow.
So over a year ago, I took the class, and that's basically the modality that I start with everybody, and with the exception of lymphatics and so forth, which I'm also licensed, or certified, I should say, certified for cancer lymphedema work. So the Marnitz is a deep tissue, but it's a very focused way of doing it, and it doesn't hurt.
Oh,
actually.
interesting.
Nothing that we should do should really hurt anybody.
That's interesting.
Any massage person, if they do,
Wow.
they're really not probably doing it right.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah.
Well, that is what I connect. Like when you talked about deep tissue, I'm like,
That
"Ugh,"
hurts.
yeah, like they
Right.
really get in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea with the Marnitz is, I get to work in a very focused way. The beginning and the end of the muscles, the middle of the muscles, along with that, the fascia, the ligaments, the joints, the tendons, and also the nervous system. And you work it in a particular way, and usually by the time, we get done, people are quite surprised that my little poking about has released all the energy in their muscles that was being spent doing that, as opposed to just being. So I kind of explain it that way. I'm releasing a heck of a lot of energy, and that's being misused in your muscles.
Interesting. So the difference between flow and stagnance is probably a pretty
Correct, yeah.
significant thing
Yeah.
that you're focused on.
Yeah. So if I do come to an area and it's, if it's above the feel good pressure, then I just back off. I don't ignore it. I just kind of work around it and then go back to it, and pretty soon it doesn't hurt anymore. So we've moved that
Wow.
stagnant
That's fascinating.
pain, whatever you want
Right.
to call it.
I've had myofascial release done, and that
Yeah.
that hurts.
It can, but if you do it my way, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't.
No, it should not hurt. No. That
Interesting.
I was not trained where you hurt people when you do the work.
Yeah.
Because it's counterproductive. The idea
I mean,
that
it feels good after. It feels good when it's done.
But the work, while you're doing it, you're tense then, right?
Right.
Like,
You're
Yeah.
tense, waiting for the next
Yeah.
pain aspect,
Right.
and then your sympathetic nervous system is in the
Oh, it
forefront when you want to
engages.
bring the parasympathetic nervous system to the forefront. So that's
I
why
see
it's
the difference.
it's
Yeah,
counterproductive in the long run.
Got it.
But you say, "Oh, I feel good afterwards."
Well, yeah. Like I can move my neck better, for instance.
Right, okay, but then did you have to go through that pain to get there?
Yeah.
I say you don't. So
Okay.
that's
I love that.
yeah. So
I mean, I like no
I'm all,
pain.
right. Yeah.
most people do.
I'm all about
They
that.
come to me because they are in pain, and
Right.
so
right. I don't want to have more
Right.
than I already have.
right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So yeah, when
I've done a
some-
fine job of jacking up my whole body. I don't need any help making it hurt more.
Right.
right, exactly. Yeah.
So as I was meeting Catherine for the first time, and I had seen her for lymphatic types of massage, one of the very first things Catherine had said to me is the bra that you're wearing. Underwire, the traditional type of bra, that is something that you're going to want to evaluate. And I'll let you certainly go deeper into that conversation. But speaking of counterproductivity, right? I'm coming to her for lymphatic drainage and stagnation and things like that. But the bra that I'm wearing is actually doing exactly that, right?
It's
creating
blocking things up.
blockages for drainage, proper drainage and things like that. And I know that underwire bras aren't the best. I know that. I didn't necessarily connect it to your lymphatic system.
Yeah.
And
They actually make you sick.
yeah, and the impact that it's having on inflammation and sluggishness and fatigue and all of those things. Your body system is not working properly because I want my boobs to look a little perkier than they do when I'm
Not
this
wearing
age.
that.
Right.
Underwire.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's really the premise.
That's how you got. So that's what you were talking about. I mean, you were connected with her, and then it rolled into.
It is.
So let's talk about how you're hurting yourself.
Right. And she had just suggested it, and of course I share a common curiosity, like that's just part of my nature. So I started doing investigation, and I asked then Catherine to come and join us, because if I don't know this, and I'm generally a very curious person, I'm usually very, focused on trying to be in the best health that I can. And if I didn't necessarily make those connections, there are many women
Who aren't making those connections.
who don't, right?
Well, because we need a little more structure, right? Especially if you have, bigger boobs. Like, you just need a little more structure to help them from being
them
all over the place.
flapping.
Right.
Keeps them from flopping.
Right. And that is, that's oftentimes your choice, right? You have something with little to no structure, or you have underwire.
Right. Yeah. So I wanted really just to talk a little bit more in depth about that, Catherine, like just to understand beyond underwire bad for lymph system. Like what is it doing? Like what impacts does it have on your system? And I guess, I don't know, some additional maybe suggestions.
And what does your lymph system do? Why is it important to support that? How do you support that?
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually going to start there.
Good.
Because the idea that we have a lymphatic system is mostly foreign to people. We don't really know what it is. But it's a series of channels, and it is carrying the lymphatic fluid, which goes back into your heart. So it is undifferentiated cells right next to your veins. And then pretty soon it differentiates and becomes a channel, a lymph channel. Okay, so that's about all the science we need to go into there. Okay. So
everyone's heard of, probably everyone's heard of lymph nodes.
correct.
That's part of your lymphatic system.
Correct. So it starts off with these little channels, and then that then carries any of the, right along with your venous system, goes back into your heart and everything gets cleaned through your lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system carries all of the bad things. We call them the toxins. Well, the toxins can be old red blood cells, can be old white blood cells, can be viruses, bacteria, and a myriad of other things that your body doesn't need. It's waste. So then your toxins are released from your body through your urine, your fecal matter, breathing. Okay. And so that lymphatic system flows automatically in your body, provided you are moving and breathing. So it doesn't really have a way to move unless you move.
So you are its motor, really.
Correct.
Like
Your
there
muscles
isn't
are the motor.
Yeah,
Yes.
there
Like your
isn't
cardio system that has a pump. Your heart
that
is
has
the pump.
Right.
Your
But
lymph
the lymph
system
doesn't
does
really
not.
have a pump. No, it's your breathing. So if people say if you deep belly breathe, you have a larger lymph node in your abdomen here called the cisternacheae. So when you deep breathe, that actually pushes that lymph node to help move the fluid. Just like you have lymph nodes under your axilla, right? You have lymph nodes in your inguinal, where your legs are, in your pubic
In
area.
your groin area.
Groin area.
Armpits.
You have near neck, you have lymph nodes actually all over your body. Those are just the major ones.
Right.
Okay.
And so the idea that when you come for a lymphatic massage, whether it's due to just, sluggishness that you feel, or if it's due to somebody who's had actual lymph nodes removed due to cancer or an accident, the idea that the practitioner is there to help the system move more efficiently. So remember how I said the lymphatic system starts out undifferentiated? So we can actually encourage, if a woman has, let's say, lymph nodes removed from her left side of her axillary, we don't automatically start working with this arm that's endotomous, right? Or filled up with fluid. Okay, we start working everywhere else. I could work on her big right toe doing lymphatic, and it would help pump fluid from that left arm, because it's kind of
It's all part
semi-hydraulic.
of the same system.
It's the highway.
Yeah, it's the highway, right. So the idea that we try to move fluid through these systems and also try to help direct them through a new flow. So for example, we have, like, I'm pointing to my chest right now in between my two breasts. That's called a watershed. So I can actually take lymphatics from the left side here and push them over this watershed, kind of making new channels, if you will. Kind of, sort of. And then pushing all that fluid from the left breast, which is, impacted by no lymph nodes.
Right.
Nothing can go through there, right? And push it all over to the right side.
The right side.
Oh,
So you're rerunning the highway.
We're rerouting the highway, yes. Yeah, exactly. And so the idea that, if someone has a sluggish, that could be for a lot of reasons. Probably not enough water. I mean, that's like the first, but then we know a lot of things that are because of not a lot of water.
being
Right.
dehydrated.
Just plain
Most
old
of us
simple
are in a
dehydration.
chronic state of dehydration.
Of some sort, right? Because even though we drink water, maybe it's not being absorbed correctly.
Yeah.
So that's always kind of that. So when you think you have all these little highways of lymphatic channels all over your body, and then you start to wear tight clothing, especially bras. So the idea that you can, remember how I told you can get rerouting,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Okay. So
In a good way.
in a good way, so you can also kind of get rerouting or stagnation in a bad
You
way.
can cut that off.
You kind of can cut it off, and so we as females tend to have too tight clothing, whether it's around your midriff, right, or the bra. Then you kind of get indents. And if things are too tight, it might be red, right, from the squeezing and so forth. So that cuts off your lymphatics. Now, is it cutting it off so that it doesn't move? Well, no, there's still movement because you have deep lymphatics and you have superficial lymphatics. So the superficial are being more cut off with clothing that's too tight.
Too tight.
Yeah. And so the thing is, just buying a proper bra, and then the right cup size is the band. They call that the band, and then the cup size will have to be correct. Now, where you get that, well, I'm really old compared to a lot of people, and it's like I'm still searching for the right bra, right? Yeah, for support and everything, and that's really it is very difficult.
Support. Yes. Support, like I automatically go to, well, if I need some really good support, I go to a sports bra, which
is really
also
tight.
very tight.
Yeah.
Like,
Because it's not fitted properly.
I mean, that's fair. I don't know that I've ever gotten a sports bra fitted. I go
didn't
to
know
TJ Maxx and I go to my
Right.
size and
Small, medium, large.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because they really don't make bras. So for the most part, I think for most people who don't fit into the constructs of the body system that clothiers use,
yeah.
you need to go online, and go through several. And there are ones out there that I was looking the other day, and just there are a huge number of vendors out there who do cater to women of breadth and have, larger girls and
All fair.
Absolutely. I actually did some, I don't know, a year, maybe more than a year ago. I changed out my bras from Underwire and I ordered them online, and it is a small, medium, large kind of system. I mean, my girls don't look as perky as they used to, but it's a lot more comfortable.
Well, they do now come in all different sizes,
Right.
not small, medium, large.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh,
for
okay.
sure.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
I don't mean
Yeah.
it was just those sizes, but it wasn't like a 32A or
Right.
it wasn't described in that kind of way.
Okay.
It really was more of a letter, and they had a corresponding number that to kind of help you gauge what one might fit you best.
And you
But-
didn't get to the right website. There are
Yeah.
plenty out there that they have.
There are.
32,
They come up in my feed all the
33,
time now.
34, 35.
Yeah, for sure.
They have all of those little numbers in there now,
Right.
whereas before you never had any of that.
Right. And it didn't really have a cup size, but I don't know, maybe I got lucky.
That's interesting. I this sounds super weird, but I have always been vain about my breasts. When I was younger, I was small. Like, I was built small. So
A little letter B.
yeah, I was a little letter B, and I'm not even talking about my bra size. So I was very self-conscious about, whether or not my breasts looked appropriate for the rest of my body. And I think that is why I have chosen for a long time to say, I know that there's things that Underwire, it's not that great for your health, but I'm choosing not to research that because I have vanity around that, right? Like I don't want to look in proportioned,
disproportionate.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
I understand that, and I have a lymph node that gives me some trouble, and that's what prompted me. My dad had lymphoma, so I'm not wanting to repeat that experiment.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that's what prompted me to change my bra.
Got it.
It really kind of was like, do I want
Of course.
gamble with lymphoma, or
Right.
do I want to just wear
Not worry about it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying I was making good choices, but that, if I'm being fully transparent, it's probably why I have yet to change that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because just of insecurities.
Yeah.
But really, I don't know. I'm 50.
Yeah. And no one has ever come up to me on the street and said, "Nice rack." So, I guess even my Underwire bra wasn't getting me to that status. So, whatever. Really.
Well, I encourage you to look at the internet because there are some really nice bras out there.
There are.
That will give you the perky little girls that you want.
I do.
Without
do.
you do. I do.
I tell them every day.
Yeah.
Cheer up.
Look ahead, girls.
Right.
Start looking up.
Right.
Yeah. Because you got a lot of lymph stuff in those breasts
Yeah,
too.
right.
It's not
Absolutely.
just,
Right.
the milk sacs and all that. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that has to flow through there. My teacher in cancer, my first teacher for cancer, she all taught us how to fluff the girls.
Oh, tell me
'Cause
more.
Yeah, I know, because she said if you don't fluff the girls,
I didn't know that was a thing.
yeah, it's a thing. So
I just want them to look in the same direction.
I mean, that's fair too. Tell me more about fluffing the girls. I
Well,
kind of like this
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, so it all had to do with the lymphatics.
Oh.
Plain and simple. Release them from the bra, and then you just take them in your hands and you kind of jiggle them about.
Move 'em around.
So that's fluffing the girls.
Wake them
All
up.
right.
Yeah,
Hey, ladies.
we had to do it in class.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
all right.
yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
I'm doing
that's
that.
just
I don't
kind of
even know it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that's what it was.
You
I
were
really
doing
was
it.
just adjusting.
Oh,
No, I'm talking about being a little
Oh,
more.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
it's
do
not
that.
aggressive, but really, flapping about. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, I don't do that.
Ready to take off. Yeah.
I'm just going to do that at home when I'm changing into my jammies. I wonder what Scott's going to say.
Thinking that if Josh walks in while I'm fluffing my girls, I don't know.
What are you doing? Fluffing the girls? You know what he's going to say. Can I help?
Yes.
You're not gonna help.
Right.
No,
Right.
no, this is just me and the girls. It's girl talk.
Oh gosh.
So fluffing the girls is to stimulate your lymph system.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's
and
for,
blood
good
flow
for
from-
breast health.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good for breast health. Yeah, and that's
All
why
right.
she taught it to us. You kind of, she taught us in a very obviously non-threatening, jokey kind of
Sure.
way.
Certainly.
Fluffing the girls, she called it that, and that's
It stuck.
why not? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyhow, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So tell me,
Yeah.
I'm making connections that probably aren't connections, but so I'm going to ask Catherine. Historically, just throughout my menstrual life cycle, I am the type of person who gets really sore breasts, like through the process of PMS. Does that have any correlation or connection to, like stagnance in breast, like lymph system, or not?
Well, I don't know, like for sure,
Yeah.
but I would not put it past the
Like-
realm of great possibility.
It kind of makes sense, doesn't
Why don't
it?
you try
Right.
fluffing them and see if it makes a difference?
Yeah, I'll
And
choose
there
to
you
do
would
that when
probably
I'm
do
not
it-
PMSing, but
Well, yeah, for
right,
sure.
Right.
And maybe even if you are and they're sore, instead of like being assertively, how about just putting your hands on your breast and just kind of, I'll say rolling, but
massage.
just gently, slowly, like excruciatingly slow. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just
Right.
kind of moving them and then bend over and let them kind of hang.
Yeah.
And maybe, because that's what you do when you fluff the girls. You kind of
to
bend
and
over.
fro.
and-
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That might be a little too tender for some people, but maybe
Well,
support them with your hands.
I mean, I'll give it a try.
I mean, why not? What if
The
that-
girls might like that.
Well, They,
They
just
might,
might,
really.
Yeah, they
They
just might
might,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, I'm way beyond that, so I don't have to worry about it. Thank God.
The girls might like a little fluff.
Right.
Yeah, right.
They might. Poor Todd.
Change it up a little bit.
Every time we talk about our boobs, I just
It's
think poor Todd.
fine. He's fine. Tammy,
You say that. I don't think it's true.
they're boobs.
Yeah, they are.
No different than the other piece of equipment.
Right.
guess.
Like, I'll tell you,
guess.
I know that those testicles get moved around all the
time.
time. Like, constantly.
All the
Fluffing
time.
the testicles nonstop.
They don't call it that. Now they could.
Yeah, right. Right.
They could steal from us. but-
Scratching the
He's starting
gnats.
something.
Right. Like,
Yeah,
right. Like,
that's fair.
it does happen.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And nobody says anything about
I mean,
it.
I do, because it's like, really? Like, they itch.
Stop
Well,
touching yourself.
So then when you think about that, okay, their bodies are naturally saying something about readjusting.
Yeah.
So men don't have tight clothing in that. Even their jock
Yeah.
straps are not tight. But men made women think that they needed to have our boobs are cantilevers, and that is a very difficult engineering design. And then when you have
Ooh.
Stop.
this
Stop.
moving and
What's a
jiggling,
cantilever?
well, my arm right now is a cantilever, so it's something that hangs out. So think of a beam that's on a wall and it hangs down. So you've got all this weight hanging down, but that's static. In other words, it's not moving, right? But the girls are moving, so you have this cantilever that moves. How do you design for that? Well, men said, let's just put you in a bullet
contain
bra.
it.
Right.
You know, those big old bullet bras.
Yeah.
And they really haven't gotten any further than that,
No.
other than
From the
some
50s?
places.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some are. I got to say that, some are good, like I say, online. But the stuff you buy in Kohl's
Yeah.
and Victoria's
Yeah.
Secret,
Right.
even
Oh,
Lane
terrible.
Bryant,
Right.
they're
Yeah.
all,
That's
those
where
are
I-
no bras
that's where I
that
got
anybody
mine.
really want. They're all cute and pretty, but
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
you want cute and pretty for yourself or, whatever.
Well,
so.
there's a time for cute and pretty, but maybe that's not something you have to wear every day.
Well, but then the stuff I've seen online sure is cute and pretty, but it's really quite functional.
Oh, well, there you go.
And doesn't have
Best of
underwires.
both worlds.
All right.
Yeah, right. So,
So be nice to the girls, for
Yeah.
God's sakes.
right, yeah,
Right? Like,
right, exactly, yeah. And your lymphatic system.
Interesting.
So again, it's not cutting off all your lymphatic system, right?
Yeah.
But
but it's not helping anything.
but it's not helping things.
And if you're identifying that, you are experiencing sluggishness or those types of symptoms, then it might be something to look at.
Yeah,
Right,
possibly.
right.
Yeah, possibly.
Interesting.
Gosh, I'm just thinking about all of the years that I wore really tight clothes. I mean, like pantyhose, right?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, those are terrible.
Back in the
Yeah,
day
yeah.
when pantyhose, like you had to wear them.
You did.
You could not wear a
Right.
dress or a skirt without them.
Right.
There were, even in offices, it was required. It was mandatory. You
Right.
had to wear a skirt and you had to wear pantyhose.
All because of men. Yeah.
Yeah. And you take them off and you've got this big red line around your midsection.
Waist, yeah.
Yeah, because it cut in all day long.
Yeah.
And then when you take it off, you have this sensation of feeling coming back. Well, that's
Yes.
your blood is being kind of rerouted. Your
Yeah.
lymph is being rerouted. Not to say anything about your fascia, right?
Right.
So more than likely, fascia around the band area. Mm-hmm. So a lot of women, when I work on their backs, they'll say, "Oh, T8, T9." I will identify it as T8, 9, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's right where we have the girls hanging.
yeah.
So a lot of women have issues, soreness there, tired back, that kind of thing,
Sure.
because of the girls. So whatever you can do to help support them better, I think you'll end up with better back health too.
Sure.
If you think, okay, so fast forward, and I'm just adding on to your point, right, with the pantyhose and what that was. And it's not quite as popular as it used to be. Like, you can certainly go about
Now they're
wearing
called
a dress. Well, tights in the wintertime, but also like a lot of that foundations stuff, right?
Yeah.
Suck it in.
Oh,
Let your butt
I'm
out.
scared,
Let your-
I'm
yeah.
scared
Yeah.
of those things.
Ooh,
Oh, my stars.
I'm
yeah.
scared of those
Spanx.
things for so many reasons. Like, I have
They're
gotten
girdle.
stuck in those in dressing rooms by myself. It is not
I
good.
don't know that I
Sweating,
wanna ask.
boobs and fat in places
What am
that
I
they
gonna
should
do?
never ever be.
If I can't get out of this.
I have like
Wow.
seriously had panic attacks.
Oh,
like
no.
I shouldn't say plural. Like one great experience that was like,
Never doing that again.
oh my good Lord.
Yeah.
Like,
Those dressing rooms aren't big enough to really, flap around to get something off that doesn't fit.
and you're by yourself and you are fucking stuck.
And you have to be quiet so that people aren't aware that you're having a moment. Oh, you poor thing.
my body is just not built to be crammed into things like
No,
that.
mine
it's
isn't
just
either.
it's just not.
No, they're not designed for people who need to have things readjusted. They're designed for a skinny person who just wants to look sleek.
Which doesn't even make any sense,
course
right?
it doesn't.
Because
It's
it's
not.
You're
like
already
it's
skinny.
marketed
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
girls that are fluffy.
yeah.
Like you can fluff your girls or you can be a girl who's fluffy.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're marketed towards us.
They are
yes.
quite popular.
Oh shit.
Well,
women
right,
have to have
because-
women have to have this sleek look. Do men have to have this sleek
No.
look?
Well,
Not in
no,
the
but
same
if you're
way.
going to wear a body conscious dress, a bodycon, right? Is that what they call it? Bodcon dress?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You need to have foundation garments under that, or
Do you?
every roll, every wrinkle, every stretch mark will show.
But they still do if you get the wrong one.
well, right. So you have to get the right
They
one.
do, and one boob is stuck under, like literally under your armpit, and the other one is like out the back door. I don't know.
You got to make sure they're looking in the same direction.
even when I think about tight clothing,
Yeah.
right? Even when I think about the types of clothes I wear when I'm exercising or going to yoga, they're all
tighter.
tight.
Yeah.
Every one, every bit is
Do
tight.
they need to be?
Spandex.
No,
is a
they
thing.
don't.
No, they don't. You don't need to have tight yoga clothing.
You don't.
Just buy it a size bigger.
Yeah, well, I guess, first off, I just go to traditional department stores or whatever, and I go to their
Right.
exercise section,
Yeah.
and that's what they have, right? Like,
That's
yeah.
what's
so,
available.
yeah,
I guess I don't, because I don't want to wear that tight stuff.
right. It just didn't dawn on me that
Mm-hmm.
I'm really doing more damage than good, by trying to,
You're doing
like,
yourself a disservice. So
I
you're
am.
trying to exercise and move your body, but you're keeping it all so contained that nothing can move and flow
Right.
while you're doing that.
right.
Yeah, we're
It's
sold,
counterproductive.
We're sold a bill of goods, aren't we?
We certainly are.
Really?
Madison Avenue.
That is
very
a
powerful.
theme.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm getting more out of this than what I anticipated. So thank you. Thank you for that. Just too many tight clothes. I really just
Yeah.
need to go through my stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And I think, what you call the bodcon or whatever that
Yeah.
was. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it probably just shouldn't be so tight. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Well, I was thinking, and maybe not so often either, right? Like maybe there's, I don't know, maybe you want to dress up extra,
Well,
for a certain event or whatever, and one
Yes.
night,
Yeah.
one
Right,
night's
that's
not gonna kill
No,
you.
no,
No, it's not.
You know.
We're not talking about that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's
Right,
the
but if it's
continual
but if this
daily-
is how you dress every single day, it could have an impact on your health.
Well,
Yeah.
and quite frankly, I work from home.
Yeah.
So I oftentimes will just wear something that feels relatively comfortable to me. And it is yoga pants that are like tighter
Yeah.
and things like
Compression.
that. Yeah, compression style things. So, whether I realize it or not, I actually am wearing those things very
You might
regularly.
not be dressed up, but you are still doing the same thing.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
So, Catherine, you said compression, Lisa.
Compression,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, when you go on a long international flight, they often recommend that you wear compression stockings to keep your blood from, causing
Pooling.
clots. Yeah.
Yeah.
So why is that kind of compression good, but compression, in a bra or, pants or whatever isn't?
Yeah. So I guess let's kind of divide that out. So you're wearing, we'll say, those compression stockings,
Yeah.
For a brief period of time for a expressed purpose of helping the blood
okay.
from your feet, which are coagulating down at your toes,
Right, while
in a
you're
seated-
sitting on a long flight,
13
for
hours, whatever.
instance. Yeah.
Right. So there's that. Compression, and then there's compression for somebody who has, let's say, lymphedema in their
Yes,
legs.
right.
So that is a medical compression, and then those even can be causing difficulty up above. If it's a one-legged stocking and it comes up to the mid-thigh and it's too tight, it will cut off the lymphatic that is
that you're
the
trying to
compression-
push it
correct
up.
that you're trying to push up. So those even need to be correctly
They need to be fitted correctly.
correct.
Oh, I see.
So the idea that anybody, like if you're going to go on a long flight and you feel that, you just want to have good support in your legs, whether you think you're going to get a clot or not. Typically going to a medical purveyor like Glanders here in Sheboygan or Sheboygan Falls, whatever, they should be able to equip you with just a general pair of compression stockings, not medical. Okay, because those have certain mg per hg,
Right.
that millimeter
Right.
per hg, compression to them, and they should be able to get you something to wear that isn't going to cut off, let's say, at the waist or
Right,
whatever it is.
right.
So when I was going into the office every day, where you wear slacks, and in the wintertime you have like the trouser socks, right?
Yep.
They I did
Yeah.
buy compression version of those
yeah.
at one point. I had a whole drawer of them because my feet would swell, right?
Oh.
You're wearing shoes that aren't overly
They're maybe too
fantastic,
tight. Yeah.
and I thought, oh, this will actually do me some good. They hurt.
It didn't.
They hurt a lot.
The stockings
The
hurt.
stockings did.
Because your
So I
legs
had
kind
to-
of swelled up
Yeah,
a bit. Yeah,
I had to
right.
stop wearing those because they just were. It was too much.
Yeah, you
and
really
they cut it
probably
off
need-
right by the
yeah.
knee. And
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not
If
good.
anything, you would have needed to gone into a full. I'll call it a pantyhose, but not a pantyhose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think you're doing yourself a favor, and it just
And
It's
then,
just not.
so with something like that, because I have a lot of clients coming through like that too. So I say, okay, what's your desk like? Do you have a desk that telescopes up and down? Can you stand? You know, so the idea that you are trying to assist that lymphatic movement with getting up and yes, walking around, but maybe standing in place and then sitting. And
Right.
then, all the different kind of levels. So,
right. That would make a difference too.
Sure.
Yeah, right. And quite frankly, all businesses should have that for anybody who has any kind of desk work. But
Yeah,
we're not.
we're not quite there yet.
No, we're not even anywhere close.
Yeah. But rather than trying to assist from the outside with wearing compression style stockings,
Right.
just start the motor, right? Like get the system
Right.
moving,
Moving.
Yeah.
right? So that it supports it and
Feet are
doesn't
swelling.
create
Maybe you need
swelling.
to walk around a little.
Right.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
seated stuff, that's pretty. Yeah, I would say that would be a good thing to do. Nurses now have come out with different kinds of compression socks that they wear that are far more comfortable than the stuff that you can, just the everyday kind of medical stuff that always made it look like a little old lady in her.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, so they've got some pretty jazzy stuff on the internet that you can get now too. But that doesn't really address the sit down issue, right?
Yeah.
Right. You still need to be moving.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it
That
looks like-
old who said it? A body in motion stays in motion. It's a famous saying. I
Yeah,
forget
it is,
who
isn't
said
it?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
well, that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the truth. Looks like I have some perusing to do to see if I can find some, I don't know, sassy little numbers that
Gonna change out lots of things, aren't you?
Well, and the same with elastic. I just thought about this elastic on your underwear at your legs,
Oh yeah.
right?
yeah.
So,
Well, what the hell do you do for that then? Wear boxers?
well, they have boyfriend undies,
Yeah.
and they also have thongs. Obviously, don't
Yeah.
have any of that elastic there. But then there are other thong-like ones, but they're not really thongs.
Okay.
right? So they have a little bit more stuff in the.
A little more
Like
coverage
cheek
in the
by the
back.
dairy-
Cheeky kind?
Cheeky.
Yeah, I think
I
they're
do that.
called- yeah,
That's
cheeky.
whether
So
I
they
like
don't
it or
have-
not, that
yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, yeah, I'm gonna have to start rethinking a lot of things. It also doesn't make me feel as bad about myself when I wear my PJs and bathrobe and work from home all day because I'm comfortable.
And you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Look at what you're doing
I'm
for
taking
yourself.
care of myself. The next time my husband comes home and is like, "Really, you're still in your bathrobe?" Yes, I'm taking care of myself while I work.
You know what? If you listen to our
Catherine
podcast,
said-
you'd know that
would
I'm
know.
supposed to do this. It's a medical necessity.
I'm supporting my lymph system right now. Thank you very much.
And you're letting the girls be free.
That's right.
That's it.
I can fluff them whatever I want.
Mostly I just say, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. What's the big deal? I can work and be comfortable. Why do you have to be uncomfortable to be productive? I don't.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm more productive when I'm comfortable.
Right. Right.
That's fantastic.
Gosh. Yeah, now I'm going to be paying more attention to my clothes. So when things are tight, instead of just being like, I don't like those jeans, they're just too tight.
Well, then,
Yeah.
and there's a reason why you haven't been wearing them.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Yeah.
Eeps.
Yeah.
Thank you. It gives a line of sight that and we talk about this a lot on the podcast where there's social expectations. It's just you don't even consider it, right?
Right.
Like, this is just how we do it.
It's because that's how I was raised.
Yes.
But we
and
can have a choice.
that's right.
We have
And
a choice.
we talked about this
did. Yeah.
earlier.
in our planning meeting.
Right.
Yeah. Right, but you have to know that there are alternatives available.
That.
Right? You can say I don't want to wear underwires anymore. Well, then what am I going to wear? Nothing? That's not
that-
acceptable.
I mean, it is an option.
it's not a great option.
Well, yeah, but you really don't want to do that to the
not a
girls
great
either.
option.
Yeah, no, it really isn't. Tissue stretches, and
Need a little support, or you get that
Yeah.
back problem in your T8, T9 area.
All right.
Yeah. Well, like most things, there's,
I have work to do here.
yeah. But when you know better, you do better.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's why I very much appreciate you being so willing and curious and courageous for the crazy lady who knew you for a very short time and asked you to be part, of,
part of
the
this, yeah.
podcast. So thank you for that.
welcome.
It means a great deal.
my
Absolutely.
pleasure. Yeah.
This was very interesting. I was so excited for tonight. I mentioned earlier, I have a lymph node that gives me a little grief from time to time. And I'm
Just
always
swells up?
looking for, well, it's just kind of there. I can feel it. I can see it. It's one that's near the surface. Sometimes it goes away completely. Sometimes it gets bigger. Sometimes it looks angry. Sometimes it's gone. It's so. I'm aware of my lymph system, is what I'm saying. So, finding ways to support that. I just recently bought some castor oil to try to help with some of those healing kind of properties, and this is just one more thing to put in my little tool belt. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'll give you another one.
Okay.
So, the boar bristle brushes
Yeah.
that you can hold with your hand,
Yeah.
or they come on a long stick.
Yeah.
I love the long stick
I do
ones.
too.
So you can do dry brushing,
Yes.
or either
I do
before
that
you
too.
go to the shower, or you can do it in the shower, and it's very light. You don't want to,
Yeah.
you're not trying to scrape your skin off. The skin will come off, your cells will come off with just a light brush.
Yeah.
So that actually is helping to promote your lymphatic system too.
Yeah.
And you're going to do that by just taking the brush, like starting with your hand and bringing the brush up your arm towards your heart, down to your feet, from your foot up to your knee, up to your thigh, up to your heart. So it's always, every brush should come to your heart. No
Towards
matter
the
if-
center.
Towards the center.
Yeah.
I do have one of those brushes, and sometimes I remember to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
if you
always,
do it
but
once a
sometimes.
week, that's fine if you do it once a week, yeah.
Yeah, I did notice that made a difference in that lymph node being there or not.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
very.
it goes away, and then I stopped doing the things that made it go away, right? I feel better. I can stop now.
Right.
When really I should just
It's
make
just
that
a maintenance thing.
It is.
It's
absolutely,
proactive.
for sure.
Yeah.
And it really does feel good. I was doing it first thing in the morning. I'd go to the bathroom, and I'm already halfway undressed. Why not just get all the way undressed and do a little dry brushing, and then go about my morning? It feels so good to do that first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
To me, it does anyway.
Yeah.
And I have one of those where the handle, like, it comes on and off.
Yeah.
So
You
it
can
is
get
like a
your back.
nice, good back scratch
Yeah.
first thing
Yeah.
in the morning. It feels so good.
It's invigorating. You can
It
feel
is,
it kind of
yes,
tingling on your
right.
skin.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't need
Helps
to be a
wake you
long
up.
thing.
No.
You can go on the internet and see people who do it for 45 minutes. No,
Oh,
no.
that's too
I don't
much.
have time
Do
for
it
all
for
that.
several,
Yeah.
a couple times up the arms,
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
times up the
Yeah.
leg.
If it
the
takes more than
torso.
5 minutes,
It's-
I'm
yeah.
probably not going to do it. Yeah.
No, 5 tops.
Yeah.
5 tops, yeah. So that's another, okay, so you're doing that. Good.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's a great suggestion.
I mean, I know I should do that. It doesn't mean I'm always doing it.
knowing
But thank
and doing,
you for the reminder.
knowing and doing are always two very different
Absolutely.
things. It really has to
Absolutely.
become a habit.
Yes.
Yep.
You can get
And
out
it's
of practice
so
really
easy to
easy.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
I think that in part is simply because we're so focused on the things that we have to do as opposed to those self-care rituals, right? Like,
Yep.
at least for me anyway, like my head is already moved into 3 and 4 steps down the road.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh, that's so urgent. I'm not going
I'll
to do
skip
this
that
thing today.
It'll
and-
be okay if I miss one
right.
day.
And then it just
And
perpetuates.
turns into weeks and months. And
It does.
yeah.
And now I don't even know where my brush is.
Right, right.
Yeah. So awesome. That
Yeah.
was a good parting
Okay.
tip. Thank
Yep.
you.
My pleasure.
Catherine, it was great to meet you.
Likewise.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. It's really fun.
Good. I'm glad.
Me too.
It's fun for us.
It is, absolutely. So,
And it's fun for Todd,
speaking of Todd,
who edits all of our recordings and listens to our
does.
ridiculousness.
he does. He hasn't given us any feedback in a while. I'm not sure how to take that. I think he's just really busy. He's had a really, really busy season.
Agree.
So, anyway, if you are interested in putting a podcast together, Mind Garden Media is where it's at. They are great mentors and guides, and they're full of all sorts of great information to get you started, or even just, if you just are curious and want to, ask some questions.
Have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Todd, thanks for putting this together and
Yep.
working your magic for us as always.
Thank you to our listeners
Yep.
and their girls.
Or their boys.
And their girls.
We have boys who listen to.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the girls.
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to be inclusive.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you for
We
listening
do
and following
appreciate
along.
it.
For
And
sure.
if you're a man listening, please talk to your women in your life and say, you know what? I heard you're supposed to fluff the girls. I mean, you can volunteer to help. You don't have to. That's completely up to you. But the women in your life should know that they can fluff the girls, and that's a helpful thing.
Self-care. All right, then. Until next time.
Bye.
See ya.